If you're an aspiring mangaka and you feel confident drawing fan art and copying existing characters but struggle to draw your own original characters, then this video is for you. We've talked to hundreds of aspiring manga artists and they all started out doing the same thing, drawing their favorite anime and manga characters. They've copied original character art, they've made fan art of their favorite characters, but when it comes to actually making their own original characters from scratch, it never comes out right. Beginner artists think of this awesome OC in their heads, but when they finally draw them, they're either not satisfied with their OC's design or they struggle to draw their OCs consistently. It's like every time they draw their OC, they somehow come out looking like different characters each time. All these issues come down to one thing: flawed character design. If this sounds like you, then stick around until the very end because in this video, we're going to talk about how you can get better at drawing your own original manga characters. Before we continue, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you get updated on our latest manga tips and tutorials. If you're a beginner mangaka aspiring to create your first manga and you want to learn the steps, the techniques, the skills to create a manga that you can share with other people and feel proud of, then we invite you to sign up to the waitlist of our online one-shot manga drawing program. You'll get to work with pro-Japanese mangakas who have over 50 years of experience in the industry. Plus, you'll be in a supportive community learning with fellow aspiring mangakas who are just as awesome and passionate as you are. You can click the link in our description to sign up to our waitlist. Here's a common problem we hear from beginner mangakas.
I can write, have an amazing idea for an OC, but I don't know how to draw.
Don't worry, you don't need to be super good at art to design great manga characters. When people say they want to make good manga characters, the instant assumption is that good means polished, beautifully rendered characters. But that's not always the case. Just look at One Sensei, the creator of One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100. Both of these titles started out as webcomics that One Sensei wrote and illustrated himself. One Sensei's art is infamously known for being rough around the edges, and while his art has improved as his series progressed, it's still not exactly considered conventionally pretty or good, especially if you compare him to other famous mangakas. And yet, both of his works are critically acclaimed internationally. They've been adapted into incredibly good anime, and One Punch Man was so popular that it was even picked up and remade into a manga by Yusuke Murata. So you see, your character art doesn't have to be technically good or perfect, they just have to be effective. Now, the question is, how exactly can you make your characters more effective? I'm gonna show you in a bit, but before that, I want you to play a game with us. It's time to guess. Who's that character? First up, do you know who this is? It's none other than Goku. I'm sure you could recognize his signature spiky hair from a mile away. Next, how about this character? You got it? It's everyone's favorite best girl, Anya Forger. Last one, can you guess who this is? The bald head, the cape, it could only be Saitama. Did you get everyone right? Let us know in the comments. If you got all of these characters right, congratulations! You know your anime characters. The coolest thing is that you were able to tell simply from the silhouette alone. Isn't that crazy? But why? Why was it so easy to guess who these characters were? All the credit goes to good, clear character design. The character designs are iconic. They're clear and intentional. They're effective. But what we can consider as an effective design will differ depending on the story. After all, character design is the process of visualizing the aesthetic and personality of your character, while also considering how your character reflects the tone and world of your story. There are other common factors that affect how good a character design is. Factors like genre convention, character archetype, and story demographic. But there is one thing that all good designs have in common, and that's clarity. No matter what your overall goal is for the visuals of your story, your design must be clear in a couple of aspects. First is shapes and silhouette. Next is color, and lastly, line economy. Achieving clarity in these aspects will massively improve your character design. Is your character distinct even when only looking at the outline? What is the dominant shape of your character? In an interview with Weekly Shonen Jump, one sensei mentioned that he came up with Saitama's simple yet striking bald-headed design because he thought,
"The world is full of cool-looking heroes, so I didn't think that was something I wanted to write about. Plus, I believe that heroes' coolness comes from their spirit and not their looks. I don't think how a hero looks is that important."
One sensei intended for Saitama to be the complete opposite of the cool-looking superhero archetype you see in other superhero anime and manga. That's why Saitama stands out even more. He's bald, he looks derpy, but he packs an insane punch. There's literally no other anime character like him, which is why Saitama is instantly recognizable even from just his silhouette alone. Silhouette is crucial in character design because it's often the first thing viewers notice about a character. A distinct silhouette allows a character to be easily recognizable even from a distance. Silhouettes are also directly tied with the shape of a character. Different shapes can evoke different associations and feelings in the viewer. For example, sharp angles and jagged lines might suggest danger or aggression, while soft curves and rounded shapes can imply friendliness or gentleness. Take Deku and Bakugo from My Hero Academia. They're rivals and total opposites. Deku's soft circular shapes reflect his journey from timid to heroic, while Bakugo's sharp, explosive triangles reflect his fierce ambition. You want your characters' shapes to be consistent with their personalities, but they don't have to be one-dimensional. Let's go back to Saitama. His shape is generally round and soft on the edges. In his day-to-day life, he looks like a harmless, derpy, bald guy. But when he gets serious, his shape takes on a rougher, more angular form. And just because Deku's generally round shape suggests he's gentle, it doesn't mean he doesn't have his super intense and angry moments. When you look at these moments from the manga, Deku looks way more sharp. Based on these examples, you can exaggerate and play around with your character's shapes to convey different personalities and emotions. This is also a great way to develop and portray more interesting, nuanced characters. Do their color values have enough contrast, and do they stand out from the background? Colors are another aspect that can give more insight into your character, their role in the story, and the tone and genre of the story itself. When thinking about your character's color palette, keep this list in mind. First, make sure your character has a clear color motive. Next, make sure they have a main color or color scheme that has good contrast and value, especially when put in grayscale. Lastly, make sure they're not lost in the background and are able to stand out. It's tempting to make your character look super colorful, but usually, the simpler your palette, the better. Choosing one main color and 2 to 3 supporting colors is usually the best way to go. Let's take a look at Anya. Can you guess what her main color is? Obviously, it's pink. In the world of anime, pink often represents sweetness or innocence. Anya's design is definitely adorable. She's innocent, very expressive, and an overall very lovable character. But being the only character with pink hair and horns, she also stands out among her fellow classmates and even in the Forger family. Her generally lighter, soft color palette contrasts well with Lloyd and Yor Forger's darker, more mature color palettes. In every scene she's in, Anya catches your attention. Even in a room full of people, you can easily spot her. Remember that your characters should each have a distinct color motive in a group. For example, in Sailor Moon, each sailor soldier has her own assigned colors. It makes it easier for your audience to tell your characters apart, and it also helps each of your OCs stand out in a group scenario. How easy is it to draw your character? When you finalize your character's design, that becomes the standard you have to follow and draw consistently over many panels. A lot of beginner artists like our student Miriam struggle with this. This is usually because beginners tend to get super detailed in designing their OCs. So, being able to draw them the same way again and again takes even longer and gets even harder when you're trying to keep track of so many details. Being able to draw the same OCs in different angles and different scenarios takes a lot of practice and careful planning. When planning out your character designs, one thing a lot of beginners don't realize is that you have to consider how easy it is for you to draw your character. This is something even the late great mangaka Akira Toriyama had to think about when making his character Goku. Although Goku's spiky hairstyle was definitely striking, Toriyama's editor pointed out that Goku's simple clothes made him look too plain. But Toriyama actually did this on purpose because Dragon Ball was a fighting manga. Making the clothes simple would make it easier for Toriyama sensei to draw the fights without having to worry too much about other details like the clothes. Also, did you know that Toriyama sensei initially designed Goku as a human boy with a monkey tail? The character was based on Sun Wukong, the Monkey King from Journey to the West. But instead of drawing an actual monkey for his story, Toriyama sensei thought that drawing Goku as human with a tail would make him stand out more. Later down the line, Toriyama sensei realized that the tail was just a pain to draw, so he got rid of it pretty early on, which is why older Goku doesn't have a tail. By making the clothes simple and taking out the tail from Goku's design, Toriyama sensei is able to draw more efficiently with fewer lines. In the art world, this is called line economy. It's basically a concept of how many lines does it take to draw your character. However, just because you can draw a character quickly doesn't mean that it's good character design. This is just something to keep in mind, especially when you're going to be drawing this character again and again. According to our pro mangaka mentor Nao Yazawa, if you want to draw your characters consistently,
just keep practicing until it becomes muscle memory.
One big tool to help you in this process is to create character reference sheets, or character model sheets in animation. Making reference sheets is a great way for beginners to practice drawing their OCs in different angles, poses, and expressions. Once you finalize your reference sheets, pen them on a corkboard or tape them on a wall that you can easily look at while drawing them again. This'll make the drawing process easier and more efficient. It might take time and effort to create your reference sheets, but it'll be worth it. Here are a few types of character reference sheets you can use. First is the turnaround model sheet. The turnaround model sheet is the most basic character sheet there is. It gives a 360 view of a character in different poses. Next is the detail study or construction sheets. The purpose of these sheets is to show specific details of a character's design. If you want to do a story with a lot of technology or sci-fi elements, you'll want to create more construction sheets to better explain certain props, parts, or design elements. Finally, we have the character expression sheet. The character expression sheet's goal is to capture and express your character's personality. You have to draw them with different facial expressions. While creating the sheet, try to imagine your character in different situations. How would they react? What kind of expressions would they make? Are they the type who would overreact? Or do they always have a poker face? Everything we've talked about so far is helping you visualize and draw better original characters. But how good a character is will also depend on how much your audience can relate to them. At the end of the day, you don't just fall in love with a character just because they look cool. Think of your favorite manga character for a second. Why do you like them so much? Maybe you like their visuals, but aren't you also drawn to their story, their personality, their quirks, their whole character development throughout the manga? That's what it means to create a relatable character that can touch your readers' hearts. A character that people can stand by. You shouldn't just rush this whole process of developing your character. Compelling characters are one of the most important elements in making a good manga. If you want to learn how you can properly create your own original characters and introduce them in your first one-shot manga, then we invite you to join our online one-shot manga drawing program. You'll be working with pro-Japanese mangakas. Not only will you learn how to draw and develop your own original characters, but you'll also learn other essential manga creation skills. How to write a story, how to storyboard, how to ink, how to draw backgrounds, how to shade and add special effects, and more. If you think you're ready to take your manga to the next level, then make sure to book a consultation call with us and we'll see if we can help you out. The link is in the description. In the meantime, we have another video that can help you further develop your original character's story and personality and create a memorable character that people can fall in love with. Make sure to check it out.